Hey guys, okay, the perfect plan. You got to be dying to find out what this is. But the perfect plan, what we call it when you get in the batter's box, this has never failed us. And I mean at any level, all through college, this thing, when our students can implement it and do it, and they put it in their mind that they are going to go out there that day and do this plan, it has never, ever failed us. Okay, and that's why I wanted to bring it to you today. If you saw our Ultimate Band-Aid video, you'll know that we really focus a lot here at the New England Baseball Academy on getting our players, particularly our young players, to learn to let that ball travel as deep into the hitting area as possible. We don't want them hitting that ball too far out in front. So we've devised this thing, what we call the perfect plan when you get in the batter's box. It's the best way I could describe it is it's almost like a little board game that they play in their head. Okay, so let's say, assume the guy's going to get 4 at-bats for that day. What we ask our hitters to do is they get in the box, and I'm going to talk as a right-handed hitter today. Everything I say is going to be obviously opposite for lefty. Gets in the batter's box, and his goal for that day, his first hit for the day, he is going to try to hit over the first baseman's head. And it doesn't have to be exact, but his goal is to get somewhere between the first baseman and the second baseman, but as close to that first baseman over his head as possible. Okay, so we're all trying to get base hits, so that's why I say over his head. If he grounds out to the first baseman or he hits a hard line drive to the first baseman, he will still have accomplished his goal. So he gets in that batter's box, his first at bat, his job, hit the ball down that right field line. If he does that, whether it's an out or a hit, he is able to, again, in his mind, like a board game, move on. So what that move on means is his next at bat, his goal is to now hit the ball over the second baseman's head. Okay, so again, not exact, but somewhere between the second base bag and the second baseman or slightly to the second baseman's left to get that ball over his head into the right center gap, if you will. Again, doesn't matter whether it's a base hit, line drive to the second baseman, good hard ground ball to the second baseman, it doesn't matter. If he does that, he has accomplished his goal. Now, let's say that first at bat, he gets it over the first baseman's head or gets it to the first baseman's side, and he goes on his second at bat, and he's trying for the second baseman, and he pulls the ball to the third baseman, he can't advance, okay, in that psychological board game. So he's got to stay for the rest of that day, continuing to try to get that ball over the second baseman's head until he has gotten that ball in that direction. So if you notice the pattern, our goal is to get our hitters to let that ball get as deep as possible. And obviously, early in the game for that first at bat, he's got to really let that ball get tremendously deep in order to get that ball down the line. It doesn't matter, and this is what I want to emphasize to you guys, it doesn't matter if it's if he drops his shoulder a little bit, it's a lazy fly ball out to the right fielder or the first baseman. Don't get upset. This is critical, and this is why I say when the players implement it, it has never failed. So you got to congratulate him or her when they've done that. So if they get that down that right field line, a little lazy fly because maybe they dropped a little bit or hit up on the ball, but at least they let the ball get deep enough to get the ball down that side. It's an achievement. They've accomplished their goal. And what you have to make them understand is that if they continue to do that, they are going to see the ball better, make good decisions during that day, and their hits are going to come, and they always do. So what you're going to find is now they've accomplished their goal, even though it's an out, that next time at bat, they feel a little bit better about themselves because they don't have to let the ball get almost to their back leg to get it down the right field line. Now they can get the bat head out a little bit more and get that ball into the gap. If they accomplish step 2 and they get to the second baseman, then we go back to our kill the pitcher, if you will, terminology that we use in getting that ball up the middle. And what we ask our players to do for the rest of that game is stay gap to gap. Anytime they get left of the pitcher, they got to get back over to the right side. So again, it's almost like you're being penalized that if you get the ball over to the third baseman, let's say you get out there too early, even if you get fooled on a great pitch, you get too early, you roll over and ground out to the third baseman, you get penalized and got to go all the way back down to the first base side. So typically our players don't like to do that, so they really work hard during that day at staying gap to gap once they've accomplished that first goal. Everybody hates to get that ball down that right field line because it's very difficult to do, to get a good, solid, hard base hit down that line. But what it does is it forces you, even if you're sacrificing an at-bat. I always tell my players, listen, you probably are going to sacrifice that at-bat that day but you're forcing yourself to set a pattern for the day. You're seeing the ball longer, and then your next 1, 2 at bats, whatever comes after that, you're going to feel great. And I'm telling you guys, I give you my word, this plan, I don't say this loosely, has never failed. We can always tell when a student just gets frustrated because his first 1 or 2, and it may take a couple of bats for him to get that ball down the right field line. If they bail out on the plan, not our responsibility. He's got to tough it up himself and fight through it himself. But for us, if you're asking me for my players ask me for my help, my guidance, I'm telling you, this is the plan. If they stick to this plan, it never fails. It doesn't mean they're going to go 4 for 4. It's not what I'm telling you. But listen, in the major leagues, they got a saying, I just want to get my hit today. Even in college baseball, just got to get my hit today. Everybody, and you don't always get 4 at bats. Sometimes you get 3 at bats. So you get 3 at bats, you get your hit, you bat 333 for a day. It's a great day. Okay, so all I'm asking you to do, try this plan. I give you my word, it works. Use it, enjoy it.